Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-host is the DJ. How are you going, DJ?
I'm going good. Life is slowly getting back to normal. TV's getting all the more lamer, but I'm getting there.
Oh, TV ads. I haven't watched TV in 6 months. My girlfriend's visiting, she's watching TV, and the ads are not good.
I will say this: I started watching TV a couple of days ago. And I was watching an episode of Midsummer Murders, and I'm going, man, episode is so weird. Like it's like every time a murder happens, 80% of the town gets wiped out. Like wow, this has a better kill rate than COVID.
Yeah, I wonder what over all the episodes, what the population is and what the murder rate in Midsummer looks like compared to anywhere else in the UK.
I feel sorry for the real estate agent in that village. Can you imagine him going like, look at this lovely little house. Just ignore that blood stain on the wall and the chalk outline the living room floor. You'll love this place.
Yeah, I maybe that's why so many people keep moving there, because it's dirt cheap.
And the funny part is when they finish the case, it's when they find the murderer and and they ask, why did you kill him? And it'll be like the most pettiest of reasons, like, oh, he stole my paperclip my granddad gave me in the war, or something as petty as that.
It's been a while since I've watched Midsummer Murders, but I'm pretty sure that's not a plot line. Anyway, our first topic this week is about a place where there's been literally no murders ever.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, there was a time an astronaut drove across America to kill her lover, but that was on Earth. There has never been a murder of an astronaut in space.
Oh, there was Event Horizon and those and the Cloverfield movies.
I'm talking about reality.
Right, that. Well, what about Astra? Well, that was technically
That's
not murder.
still reality.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
So, what is this movie, DJ?
So this movie is going to be a film adaptation of Andy Weir's next novel. For those who are curious who Andy Weir is, he's the genius behind the movie and the novel The Martian,
which is an excellent book. And XKCD gets it completely right. They say that The Martian is the only book to ever capture the feeling of working on an electronics project and realizing you've just screwed something up.
Oh yeah, I will say this: Matt Damon played the lead character really well in that movie. Everyone
in that movie was good.
Yeah,
and it didn't even break the rule of Sean Bean dying, because because Sean Bean's career was killed.
Oh. Was it faster than how Boromir died?
No, it was slower. But he had a lot more time to come to grips with it.
So for this one, Ryan Gosling is going to take the role this time. So are you surprised that Ryan Gosling's going to take a spaceman role?
I mean, he's the most handsome actor on Earth, so he wants to get off Earth to get away from all of the fangirls.
Well, he was pretty famous in that movie. What was that movie again? The Notebook?
Yeah, that one's got good reviews, I hear.
Oh, I didn't like that movie at all. Don't get me started on that movie.
Well, it's a rom-com, so it's not exactly targeted for you. You're a weeb.
So the people behind the production for this new movie, Lord Miller and Pascal, have a long-running relationship. They've even sharing office space at one point, and they've recently won an Oscar together as the producers on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Good movie, by the way, that one was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People thought Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a good movie?
You haven't seen have you seen it, Professor?
Are you not picking up all of the sarcasm in that? You're worse than I am. And I'm one who's actually diagnosed with Asperger's. So if anyone's not getting the sarcasm, it should be me.
Well, I could say this. Your sarcasm is duly noted. Please refer to the nearest medical professional as soon as possible. But yeah, so sources say that before Gosling had even finished reading the manuscript, he was lobbying to executives that it seemed like the perfect project for Lord and Miller. The one hurdle that needed to be overcome was making sure Universal, which just signed the duo to a first look deal, was okay with Lord and Miller making their next project. MGM chief Michael DeLuca and Universal chairman Donald Langley have a long-standing relationship, and following discussions between the two studios, Uni gave their blessings for the projects to move forward. And DeLuca and Pamela Abbey have all said this. All of us at MGM are incredibly excited with this dream team coming together around Andy's astonishing novel, with their masterful ability to balance beauty, drama, action, and humor. So they're the perfect filmmakers, and they'll take on this unique material. So you reckon it's a good choice on the studio's part?
Yeah. I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, but it's popular enough that these guys seem like they know their stuff.
Yeah, like it's interesting how the people don't know what movie are they going to do though. Some are saying it could be the Project Hail Mary, and some are saying it could be the.
Well, the article makes it seem pretty confirmed that it's going to be Project Hail Mary, which is a working title about an astronaut on a spaceship saving the planet.
Yeah.
So slightly higher stakes than The Martian.
Still hasn't been released, has it?
No. It should come out in spring 2021, which I'm assuming this is an American. Yes, Variety is an American site, so autumn for us.
Yep. They're saying here that the original rights to Weir's book sold for 7 figures, one of the first major sales amid the recent shutdown due to the COVID-19. And MGM and DeLuca have continued to be aggressive. And
they say they've picked up a bunch of different movies at the moment.
Yeah.
The Thai Cave Rescue movie, a Ridley Scott movie called Gucci, and George Miller's 3,000 Years of Longing. Unfortunately, 3,000 Years of Longing isn't Mad Max.
It'd be like Mad Max having a midlife crisis. I have 3,000 years of longing. It's so terrible. Furiosa, please kill me.
No, I think you're getting it completely wrong there.
I know. I was just being sarcastic. But Ryan this is the second time Gosling's been in a space movie. Like I think he's got the potential to do it.
What was his first one?
Armstrong.
Okay.
So he was the guy that played as Neil Armstrong, chronicling the whole first moon landing, which Gosling played as Neil Armstrong.
Fair enough.
A second, it was First Man. That was the movie title. Yeah, but I think he with this talent house, I think he can do it. As they not only followed have they followed up with the Oscar win, they've also developed feature comedies in both drama and comedy, with the ambition of setting up reboot material for future generations. They've also expanded its TV series arm by signing an expansive 5-year overall deal with Sony Pictures, which the pair will develop their own projects for cable, network, and streaming platforms, champion new voices, and be involved with developing a suite of series based on Sony's collection of Marvel characters. So
it's sweet.
I
know. It's one of those complicated words.
You mean like a GIF and a GAF?
DJ is now fired from Nerds Amalgamated. I am hiring anyone who's not DJ.
So continuing on, Lord and Miller behind the Fox animated series Bless the Hearts, which is ready to debut its 2nd season. So I don't know. I mean, Hollywood's kind of going through a bit of a slowdown. So I think this might be a good way to get the cinema fans running.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But then here's my problem though with space movies. Like I know, like besides The Martian, there were a couple of other movies that have been coming out lately, like Gravity, Ad Astra. What was that one with? The name's off the tip of my tongue. It has the guy from Wolf of Wall Street. not Leonardo DiCaprio.
Anytime you're ready.
Yeah, I'll the song. I'll think of, I'll figure it out when I get at the end. But like, you reckon space movies are kind of getting like we've seen the space movie time and time again when we know the endings to most of them. Like, do you reckon this genre is kind of getting a bit bloated?
Nah, there's plenty of space out there for these movies.
I mean, a lot of those space movies, like most of them are all like disaster movies or like the exploration movies that go wrong.
Yeah, you just fine. Oh. Not even going to acknowledge that one, are you?
Pun?
There's plenty of space out there.
Oh, right there, I see the pun. The pun.
Come on, keep up.
Dang it. But yeah, like I think this is a good one to come in, but I'm just worried about how all these space movies coming out and it's just getting bloated. Like, I mean, it'd be pretty cool, like just to see more depth into that genre. So yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always up for more space. So, and especially Andy Weir space. Andy Weir is the guy who went through and wrote programs to check all of the maths in his in the Martian.
Oh, by the way,
he wrote his own program to do the calculations for the slingshot maneuver.
Oh yeah, that must have been a very, very long, complicated process.
Yeah, I assume he had to do some basics in I don't know if it's sort of open knowledge, but he had to do a bit of work. I assume he did a bit of work in astrophysics just to figure out how it was going together.
Oh, by the way, that movie I was talking about was Interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, our next topic for tonight is also in space. Pissent, the new space cement. So, a new design for cement has been created using astronaut pee and moon rock.
Wow, what a wicked combination!
Yeah.
The major component is urine and 4 lunar soil.
Yeah, so that's just like prototypes, but obviously it's a bit hard to get some moon rocks to test with.
I'm thinking, like, how are they going to test this? Like, are they going to test this in the moon? Like, whether this thing is hard enough to...
Well, I assume they would before they did that, they would either use some of the samples that are already on Earth or go and do another sample return mission, or maybe even just ship up a robot that could scoop up some dust and build this. But I like that the page image for this is just a Teletubby house.
Yeah, If you think about it, holy smokes! Even that robot next to it is like that vacuum cleaner in the Teletubbies series. All we need now is a picture of the sun with a little girl's face on it.
Yeah, why were children's shows back then so into the whole cosmic horror aspect?
It was the 90s. That's all I'm gonna say. It was the 90s.
The 90s were a bad time. But yeah, it's a Teletubbies house. Right? It's literally just a Teletubbies house with a spaceman. I'm excited by this because anything that makes it easier to build on the moon makes it easier to live on the moon. And the sooner I can move to the moon, the sooner I can get away from you lot.
Oh, come on, Professor. You don't think like that, do you?
Not all the time.
It's like, while the professor's working, he wishes he was in the moon, living in a Teletubbies house.
Well, I mean, I could go all moon as a harsh mistress and launch giant rocks at anyone who puts in a stupid ticket.
Anyways,
you're going to waste my time? I'm going to squish you with a giant rock. And maybe I'll even turn it into cement by peeing on it first.
Are you gonna write your name in pee and throw it down on us and just
Sure,
go like...
Sure, why not?
I mean, like, move aside peeing in the snow. The newest thing on the newest thing to do is peeing in the moon.
Well, it would even last longer. Like, they make a point. Like, well, it would probably evaporate pretty quickly even if you could pull down your space undies and have a piss. But because of the low pressure. But if you could, and it formed into this kind of cement, and there's no wind on the moon, so peeing on the moon would you could write your name in by peeing on the moon, and it would last forever.
So can you imagine? Can you imagine aliens coming down to Earth and going, "Whoever this professor was must have lived a very long life alone, because his name was written on the rock."
Well, keep in mind the moon is also covered in white flags, so any aliens coming past are going to see that and realize we crushed them into submission.
Anyways, we're kind of getting off topic here. So
really,
yeah. So they say here on Earth, adding a chemical called super plasticizer to a cement mix reduced the amount of water needed by keeping a drier mix from getting too crumbly, while leaving it flexible enough to use in a 3D printer.
Which is also really cool. Like, everyone's like, PLA this, PLA that. Screw the PLA printing. You just got to P into your 3D printer to get it going in the morning.
Just
Look, we've opened a can of worms here. And we're not going to get it closed again. So let's just pee on everything on the moon.
So moving along, it continues on saying, then a hitter. I was thinking, what's available on the moon? If you add humans, then what do you have available? She says, maybe human waste. Yeah, maybe human waste can turn into something useful. So I'm not going to pronounce this name. Don't even try. They said previously.
Kionixon?
Yeah, Kionixon.
Kionixon, I think. Yeah, Annalena Kionixon.
Yeah. So Kionixon had previously used urea to make plastic mixtures less viscous. So urea breaks hydrogen bonds between molecules, reducing friction and letting the molecules slide past each other easily. She'd never heard someone using it in cement, but I thought it was worth a try.
Well, anything's worth a try once. If it doesn't work, you now have a slightly bigger list of things that don't work and a slightly smaller list of things to try. I like this. This is really thinking outside the box.
Yep.
Or inside the cricket box.
Oh, wow. We're making a lot of box jokes, aren't we? Anyway, so a slice of ammonium oxide powder, a stand-in for lunar dust, is the main ingredient in Kionixon cement. Its chemical content is similar to fly ash.
Yeah, and fly ash, I think, on Earth traditionally comes from smelters and coal furnaces.
Yeah. So this is the main component with larger and more crystalline grains. They mix the powder with powdered urea, bought from chemical supply company, not distilled from real urine.
Yet. But if we're going to, like, she says that she doesn't know yet whether they're going to need to purify the urine or if they can just add straight pee to the mixture.
Yep.
But you're going to have to figure that out before it gets to the moon. So sooner or later, they're going to be peeing in a jar.
And the results were amazing. So it held its shape under light weight and withstood temperature changes. And extruding the cement through a tube and stacking several layers on top of each other using a 3D printer made a tiny stable wall.
This is great.
You know what's going to be funny? Can you imagine Donald Trump listening to this and going,
"Oh, no. DJ, never, ever speak again." Nobody needed to think that.
So moving along. So Kionixon plans to test
We are going to build the wall and we will make Mexico pee for it. Make America pee again. We need to change this. I am going to go way too far in a minute.
And to end all this, she says this. She also wants to investigate whether future astronauts would have to purify urine, or if they could use pee in cement directly.
Well, yeah, it's the difference between peeing into one machine to purify it and then adding that to the 3D printer, or peeing straight into the 3D printer. One's easier than the other.
Oh god. So you reckon this is? I reckon this could be a practical solution. I mean, you can't. It'd be a while. It'd be a while till we do the whole like, hey, can you do a delivery? Like, just deliver some cement up to the moon here. I want to try peeing onto the cement.
I mean, make this stuff available for tradies. Then they can save bathroom breaks. They don't need to go to the portaloo for a bathroom break. They can just pee into the cement mixer.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
It needs more testing.
Yep.
But I'm excited to see where this goes. Not solely because of the potential for jokes, but it's up there.
Yep. We'll attach the actual science. We'll attach the journal article to the show notes as well. And I like the last sentence of this article is hilarious. It goes, "It sounds like such a daft idea, but here we are. It works."
Yeah. I mean, that's how so many good ideas happen, though. Someone thinks, I wonder if we can do this thing that's completely ridiculous. And they go and do it, and it works, and it's incredible. Speaking of pissing on things, the Pokemon Go developers have decided to piss on the community.
Oh.
Yes, I'm not pleased with this change. So they're rolling out a change across Australia now, and we'll soon be rolling it out to the world. But the change makes it harder to earn the in-game currency. During a time when it's already hard enough to earn the in-game currency because we're all staying at home. So basically before this, you earned coins by putting your Pokemon in gyms and defending them for a time. You would earn 1 coin every 10 minutes, I think, which meant you could earn your daily maximum coins by holding gyms for a total of 8 hours, which 8 hours is a fairly reasonable time.
Yeah.
But then they decided to change it, and now you earn 1 coin every 30 minutes.
Oh.
And you can supplement it by doing other things, so challenges. But you now earn 1 coin every 30 minutes and lowered the cap. So now, even still, to reach the daily cap of coins you can earn, you have to hold gyms for a total of 25 hours a day.
Oh, that's nuts. That's nuts.
And it's not doing good things for the community because, I've got a write-up here from a user, Redditor Perth, who has written about their experience with this. And and I've noticed it myself too, gyms are now held for minutes if you're lucky, because people need gyms so much more now to have any hope of getting any coins. So you're just constantly sniping each other. This user's written about people getting in fights.
Oh no, are you serious?
Yeah, like not physical fights, but shouting matches so far. And everyone's gone tribal because you can hold there's 3 teams and you can hold a gym with the members of your team, but you can't cross over to the other team. If someone from the other team wants to get points from that gym, they need to kick out everyone from your team.
Oh no. Oh, yeah. It is a bit of a gauntlet. I mean, if you look at Pokemon, the TV show, like it's always a gauntlet of, you have to go through this gauntlet of other people just to meet the gym leader, and that's it. Like, that's the battle. Yeah,
that's not a problem though, because you're already doing battles at the gyms. The problem is entirely that they're doing this to monetize it more, because they've lowered the amount of coins you can get and made it harder to earn coins, which means that people are going to want to spend more money on the game. It's not respectful of the community at all. Does this remind you of any other company on Earth that did this before? Yes. A lot of companies have released a game in alpha or beta, early access, whatever, and over time made it harder to grind coins or equivalent currency. I mean, it's such a shame that Niantic is also taking this route now. It is. But here's I might play a bit of devil's advocate on this one. It's a mobile phone, isn't that the dangers of having mobile phone games though? I mean, well, any online game can be monetized. It's not just mobile games. the mobile games are particularly bad about it. Especially not our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, owned by a gambling company, which I'm doing a bit of a write-up about that. So,
oh, you mean you're doing it wrong? It's supposed to be Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends.
yeah. So, but there's a lot of companies out there trying to use mobile games for money, and none of them are nearly as successful as Niantic.
Yeah.
And Niantic is now getting greedy and is trying to crack down and make more money out of Pokemon. And just judging by the way it's affecting the community right now, I don't think people are going to want to keep playing at all this way. If people are getting into fights over gym control, it's just not good for the community.
Just curiously though, what's the player ratio when it comes to Raid Shadow Legends and Pokemon Go? Like, which I know I would bet that Pokemon Go to be more of a bigger player base than Raid, but
yeah, I think it probably is.
I mean, the interesting part with this PokeCoin tale is how we've seen this sort of tribalism and aggression before. Like when Pokemon Go first came out, I mean,
that wasn't aggressive at all. That was really chill.
I know, but then you always have the whole tribalism. Like, which are the three teams are you taking? What was the three? It was red, yellow, and blue, if I recall.
Yeah, but back in the day when Pokemon Go first came out, people weren't getting in fights about gym control. They just played the game. Now people are actually fighting over it.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they change this back, because it wrecks the game for casual players. Because since you need to control the gym for so long and people are so aggressive now, if you aren't in the gym, you aren't earning money, you now need to hold the gym for 25 hours a day, which means you need to find 2 gyms and hold them for a frankly ridiculous amount of time. There's not enough gyms to go around for the amount of players, especially in a populated city.
Yeah, it sucks when a game like this gets devolved into a mess.
Yeah. Like a couple of months ago, we were having a go at Fallout 76 for adding in microtransactions and all of that, and paid private servers.
Yeah.
When they had a shitty game to begin with.
Yeah.
They have at least come out with the content. Niantic is now taking things away from you.
Yeah, which sucks, basically.
Yeah. It just always leaves a sour taste when a game developer tries to take content away from you.
As a developer, Professor, how do you see this from a developer perspective?
Well, they probably think they're going to make tons of money. They've probably done, they're rolling it out across Australia first, which is where their test site, to find out how much people will take. And they think they're going to make more money from it this way. If they don't, they'll probably roll it back. But I think they're sacrificing their community to make money.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. I can't name any off the top of my head, but it's definitely not the first time it's happened. And it won't be the last time, but it's really sad to see Pokemon Go, which was such a force for good when it first came out.
Oh yeah, with so many crazy events. Like, what was that one where some girl got run over by a truck while playing Pokemon Go?
Okay, some people are idiots, but it got everyone out there playing and talking and hanging out outside. A couple of crazy things happened. People got hurt because they were idiots, like the idiot who stopped his car on a highway to catch a Pokemon. That's not Pokemon Go's fault. That's an idiot's fault. You can't blame that on Pokemon Go.
Man. So I remember one story where a couple of kids gate crashed into a funeral and started walking around the funeral parlor. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
That's just people being assholes. You'll never stop people being that dumb.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. Like it brought people together, and it was wholesome at the time.
Yeah, and now they're turning us against each other.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're on different teams, people still got along together. But now they're just turning us against each other for money.
Yeah.
And it's not even that they've made it harder to earn coins. There's now a lower cap. So it used to be you could earn 80 coins a day, which, they've lowered the cap. So now it will take you longer to save up for things.
from a developer's perspective, how would you remedy the situation?
Look, they're already hugely making loads of money. I'd like to think that as a developer, I wouldn't try to take people like that. Like, they're already hugely popular. They have a good thing going. I'd like to think I wouldn't mess with it, but I've never been in that situation. I've never been in a team that size with that many people playing. So I think it's hard to say what I would do, but I'd hope it's not this.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, I mean, the mobile phone gaming market it's growing and evolving at the same time. And Pokemon Go, as much as people will dislike to say, like, it's kind of getting to its autumn years kind of thing.
I don't think that's true at all. It's still huge.
It's still huge, but
no one will remember Raid Shadow Legends in 2 years, but people will remember Pokemon.
I mean, there are other games though. There's always Clash of Clans, and it's Evolutions, and that's still going. Like because that and Angry Birds, for example, that's still going.
Angry Birds, I haven't heard that name in years. Angry Birds isn't really still going. As far as I'm aware, they haven't released a new game in years.
If you want a really old one, Fruit Ninja, man, that game is old.
Yeah, but those games weren't games as a service like Pokemon Go is. Pokemon Go keeps releasing new content. It keeps having weekly or monthly events. Before coronavirus, there was a weekly raid day raid hour. For an hour on Wednesday nights, everyone would go out and do battles to catch rare Pokemon. But a game like Fruit Ninja, it's not designed for that. It's not a social game. It's on a completely different level.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I think they're probably seeing a bit of a boost right now while people are still playing, but I think people will burn out quicker rather than later.
So my other question also would be, if they get rid of this system, like the PokeCoin system, how are they going to compensate?
Same way they were.
How so?
Well, they were making money before they changed the system. Here we go. Pokemon Go has made more than $3 billion in lifetime revenue as of the end of October last year.
Oh!
So you think the system wasn't working? You really think that they don't have the money?
Oh, compare that to the other game though, like Raid, for example. I wonder how much money they got that game's revenue is getting though.
Probably less. So, you really think they don't have the money to do this right?
No, I don't.
I'm hoping they will pick up on this and realize that people aren't happy with this and this isn't going to help them and that they roll back to the old system. Like, I'm fine with them tweaking the system and trying new things. They did that with the gyms. A few years ago, they decided they were just going to take all gyms offline for a couple of weeks while they updated them. And that was cool. That worked well. Gyms came back, were hugely improved. But this has just fallen flat.
So you were saying highest grossing mobile games? I think I found the highest grossing game is Monster Strike.
Literally never heard of it.
Wait a second, I'll put it up for you. It's really, there's a lot of revenue here. I'm just looking like Pokemon Go, 4 billion? 700 million. That's the 6th highest.
Okay, so a lot of names that I sort of expect to see here.
Yeah.
Some that have absolutely massive advertising budgets, like Game of War Fire Rage had TV ads.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea whether Raid Shadow Legends has TV ads, but they've got such a huge huge presence on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're not even on the list of the top 41 highest grossing games.
This is interesting. Hearthstone's in there, and it's by Blizzard as well.
Yeah, and it's free to play, I think.
Yeah.
I think you spend money on card packs.
Yeah.
Whereas with Pokemon, you can play entirely free and not have to pay anything, or you can choose to pay, and people have been paying. There's no other way to make $3 billion than people are paying you.
Pokemon Go gets beaten by Candy Crush in grossing mobile game in terms of revenue.
I'm highly surprised that Candy Crush beat it. But Candy Crush has had 4 years on Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I think everyone should go and tell Niantic if they play Pokemon Go. You should go and tell Niantic what you think, because they also developed the Harry Potter game, and I don't play that as much as I play Pokemon Go. I've only put a couple of hours into that one, really. But because it's hard having multiple location-based phone games, since you can't run them both at the same time, obviously. But if this works, and if they don't get backlash for this in Pokemon, I think they would try to roll out something similar in Harry Potter Go. What's the name of it? Wizards Unite.
That's right.
Yeah, so if I think we all need to speak up now before Niantic finishes rolling this out around the world, and make sure they realize that the fans aren't happy.
All I will say is vote with your wallets. Vote with your wallets.
Or your Twitter accounts, or Reddit accounts, or YouTube accounts, or whatever it takes to tell them what you think, because yeah, let them know you're not happy. Or at least I'm not happy, and other people aren't happy. You might be perfectly happy, in which case, good for you. Enjoy your happiness. I'm just a grumpy old man, but you will be too one day. So, let's get out there and make sure they know what we want.
Yep.
Anyway, what have you been playing this week, DJ?
I've been playing Legend of Runeterra, so it's League of Legends.
Yeah, but still, you were playing it last week and the week before.
No, I was playing the week before. I was playing Alan Wake.
You're right, you were. Okay, you played it 2 weeks ago. You're like someone who wears the same dress to two different events.
Yep.
Nicole Kidman wouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it.
Hey, it's a good game. I mean, I've been playing it against the AI, and the more I play it, the more addictive it's getting. I mean, like the addiction is where you have to create this perfect deck when you want to, so you can try and play against people. And I played. I'm still a newbie on this game, but foolishly I went online and tried to verse against someone, and I got defeated twice. But the third time I went online, I played someone. They had the advantage, and I was like on 3 health. They were on 1 health, and they had the advantage. They were on. It was their turn, and they surrendered.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes.
And I'm going like, you surrendered. But yeah, the game is interesting to play with. Like I said, like you have to come up with you can build the perfect deck. The biggest flaw with this game is they don't really tell you like what are the successes or the failures of this deck kind of thing.
So there's no sort of kill death ratio. No.
So like if, let's say for example, you build a specific deck, the game doesn't tell you like, this deck you've got to build, it's not gonna help you out kind of thing. Like, okay,
so is it just the game doesn't handhold you while you're making a deck, or is it that like you want more analytics so you can tell which decks you've made have done well?
Both. Like the hand-holding part, especially the hand-holding part, to be honest.
Okay.
But
now, since we were speaking about microtransactions in card games a moment ago, have you spent any money?
No, luckily no. I don't intend to. But the microtransactions are pretty interesting as well. Like you've got shards and you've got exploration coins. The shards you can earn them as much as you want by doing all the quests and leveling up, and there's also the weekly vault, which opens up every Tuesday, and you get the number of treasures in the weekly vault depending on how many times you play the game, how many times you played. So like if you get like 4 treasures, that means that's a result of you playing it 4 times. So the more times you played the game, the more amount of treasures you can be able to win on the weekly vault.
Now, you've put in a lot of time in this so far, so do you feel like it's pushing you towards spending money?
There have been moments I have been tempted to spend money on it, but no, I haven't had the chance to spend money. So because some games are scummier about it than others, like the Harry Potter adventure game, where you would be given a certain number of actions a day and you could spend money to get more. And it was designed so that you would run out of actions when a character was in
literally a life or death situation, like a whole cliffhanger thing. And then it's like, oh no, you're out of energy. Would you like to buy more?
I saw that. I was like, what the hell? What's wrong with? I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
Yeah. And the mobile company even defended that decision as well.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, they would say like, we've tried to create a game and write a story that has stakes, and that has dramatic moments that reflect the level of drama and emotion that you see in the film and books.
Okay.
And he goes, I don't think being in a perilous situation is unique to our Harry Potter game when you compare it to the films and books.
And that's a complete non-answer.
And he goes, like, say, I don't think our game is more violent or more scary than any other any other Potter stories. Without a doubt, we leave you at a cliffhanger. It seems like the book's chapter end at a dramatic moment, blah blah blah. So I'm hoping we don't measure. I'm hoping we can also measure our game as the same. And he says, I do not think it conflicts with the business model. In the same way as Dickens wrote for magazines before he wrote for books, or television writers write for seasons, we're writing for interactive episodes and chapters. That requires a different type of writing with a different cadence. Yep, thank you. Cadence that I believe can be true to the world of Harry Potter.
Yeah, that is the biggest non-answer I've ever heard.
It feels like he's just moving the buck.
Yeah, it's like J.K. Rowling never left you at a point where a character was literally life or death and said, send me more money to find out what happens.
Can you imagine?
I know about Charles Dickens. I know he wrote his books as serials and magazines, but it sort of feels different because that's designed to be experienced in chapters and yeah.
Can you imagine David Cage doing this type of Harry Potter game going, give me more! Give me more money!
Only if it has awkward mocap. That is the thing for David Cage games. Awkward mocap.
Or him saying David. David!
Or Jason.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Jason! But yeah, so with this game, in terms of microtransactions stuff, there are a couple elements of microtransactions and various currencies. I haven't yet gone to the element of I should spend money to get into this to get more stuff. I haven't gone to that element yet, so
it's fair enough then.
Yeah, but as I said, the biggest flaw sometimes it's the it doesn't really guide you that much. You have to play it by trial by error kind of thing. So I mean, it's fun. It does have the element of like it does put the element of oh yeah, it's a card game, so you have to have this trial by fire kind of thing. But yeah, there has to be a moment where you have to go like, all right, this is where you fight, this is where you do this. This is your deck, and if you want to add this might improve your attack ability and stuff like that. So, I wish they put more effort into that section. Yeah. I'm gonna leave with Nerdy Beanies wise. I'll give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Same score as last time.
Okay. Now, did you ever finish Alan Wake?
I would like to finish that on the weekend.
Get on with it.
Because that feels like a very long game, and that will take me a whole day for me to finish that game.
Yeah, I think it took me about. I mean, I've got 40 hours of playtime in it, but I was studying it for a uni assignment. So, I mean, yeah, the assignment was literally play games and write about how they do things. So, I've been playing Slime Rancher, which is a sort of cute, weird farming game where you run a farm to breed and grow slimes. Except it's a bit weird because the way to make money is by feeding slimes food and collecting their poo. And then you sell that poo.
And let me guess, that poo is going to be used as cement.
I don't know. I don't know who's buying all this slime poo. It looks like crystals, so maybe. But the way to crossbreed slimes and get one that's a sort of combined model slime, you feed a slime another slime's poo. It's weird. It's disturbing and weird, and but it is strangely adorable and fun to play. I don't know how deep it's going to get. It feels like it can't get too deep because the farm area is fairly small, but looking at the map, the whole map seems fairly large, and I'm really not that far into it. I've only got a handful of different types of slime, and I haven't unlocked any of the other areas yet.
So I take it there's a lot of microtransactions to this game as well?
None at all.
None at all? Nice.
None at all. It's a PC game, but yeah, like, I don't know if I'm loving it. I normally enjoy sort of chill farming games, but this one feels like it just doesn't have enough depth in it. Of course, I could be completely blown away because one of the areas I haven't unlocked yet is an alchemy lab. So I'll probably log a few more hours and just see where it's going. Until then, I'll give it 2.5 because it's fun. Like, you know, it's fun if you're into that sort of game, but I don't know if it has the depth to keep me playing.
Fair enough. What's the biggest flaw you've encountered for this game?
Actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that the main tool is a vacuum. So you suck things up and then shoot them back out. But I think the big flaw is probably the lack of depth. But you know, we'll see how it goes in a few more hours of gameplay. I think maybe I'll do an update next week.
Fair enough.
And I think so I think 2.5 out of 5, which I'm trying. I know it's common for reviewers to make it so that anything less than like 80% is awful, and where you need to actively do things wrong to get less than 80%. But I don't like that, and I want to try to balance it out where only truly awful games get like a 1 out of 5, and games that are, you know, only truly excellent games get a 5.
Yeah.
So anyway, and to our shout-outs. So on the 15th of May, Fred Willard passed away at 86. Frederick Charles Willard was an American actor, comedian, and writer. He's best known for his role in This Is Spinal Tap, the Christopher Guest mockumentaries, and the Anchorman films. He was also in Family Matters, Sister Sister, Mad About You, and Everyone Loves Raymond. He earned nominations for Primetime Emmys for Best Guest Actor in a Comedy for 3 consecutive years. And he was the only human character in the movie WALL-E. Well, it says human character, but I'm assuming that means he's the president in the video, because like the captain's human, the passengers are human.
Yep. I think that meant as in the hang on a second. There we go. The global CEO. That guy. Okay.
Yeah. So basically I was thinking like I mean I said president, but what I was thinking was like company president, because I really like the hyper corporate capitalist wasteland bit in that movie. Not that I necessarily think capitalism has to lead to the end of the world, but I just like the backstory for the companies in the movie. Like Buy was a company that made like the food shakes, and Large was a company that made plus size clothing. And then they realized, hey, the food shakes make people fat, and they buy the clothes. Let's merge, and people will buy the drinks, then buy the clothes. Anyway, his last role was the Netflix series Space Force. And on the 18th of May, Ken Osmond passed away. Ken played the teenager Eddie Haskell in the sitcom Leave It to Beaver. He appeared in all 6 seasons, then played the adult version of Eddie in the new Leave It to Beaver in the 1980s. Ken felt like he'd been typecast as Eddie, and he said it was a death sentence, and he could never really break into other roles. He, in 1969, when he got married, he signed up for the police department and grew a moustache to disguise himself. So that those costumes of the Groucho Marx glasses and moustache, apparently they work. In 1980, he was shot 3 times in a car chase. One bullet was stopped by his belt buckle, the others by his bulletproof vest. So it did its job. And on the 19th of May, Red Dead Redemption celebrated its 10th anniversary, which is probably one of the most famous games of all time. The sequel came out, and while the single player was hugely well received, the multiplayer fell completely flat because they tried to squeeze it into the GTA model, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So, for remembrances, on the 19th of May, 1825, Henry de Saint-Simon, aka Claude Henry de Rivoire, what? Comte de Saint-Simon created the political and economic ideology known as Saint-Simonism. They claimed that the needs of the industrial class needed to be recognized and fulfilled to have an effective society and an efficient economy. So he reckoned that the primary threat to the needs of the industrial or working class was the idling class, including people who were parasitic and avoided doing work.
It's like no kidding.
Yeah, sounds like a right-up smart guy here, right-up communist. But yeah, he believed in the merit of the individual and the hierarchy of merit in society and the economy, with merit-based organizations of managers and scientists to be decision makers in government. That really doesn't sound like a bad idea. So Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels identified Saint-Simon as an inspiration to their ideas and classified him as a utopian socialist. He died from suicide at 64 in Paris.
Here's an interesting fact with Saint-Simon. He's tried it 6 times and failed all 6 times.
To commit suicide.
Yeah. He
obviously didn't fail one of them because he died.
Yeah. But
so what was that? 6 failures and 1 success?
Yeah. And he as a result of his he only lost an eye.
Here we go. Yeah. So what you've said there is a bit wrong. So in 1823, a few years before he actually died, disappointed by the lack of results of his writing, he shot himself in the head 6 times, lost his sight in 1 eye. That's insane. Like, there's conspiracy theories about people who have shot themselves twice in the head. And it's like, how could you possibly shoot yourself twice in the head? They must have been murdered, especially when that person's like former intelligence agency or whatever. But he pulled it off 6 times.
And only lost sight in 1 eye. That's it.
Yeah, so on the same day, but in 1935, we have T.E. Lawrence, Colonel Thomas Edward Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. He was renowned for his role in the Arab Revolt and the Sinai and Palestine campaign against the Ottoman Empire during the First World War, and has a whole bunch of great movies about him. So in 1916, he went to Arabia on an intelligence mission and became involved as a liaison to the Arab forces and worked with Emir Faisal, a leader of the revolution, and also joined military actions against the Ottomans. So he was part of the capture of Damascus in 1918, then continued working with Faisal after the war. Like, he's been everywhere. It's funny that he ended up working on rescue motorboats for the Royal Air Force, because years before that, when he was in Arabia, he described camels as the ships of the sea because they have a particular wobbling gait. So he died from crashing his motorbike at the age of 46 in Bovington Camp, Dorset.
Interesting thing with T.E. Lawrence, his death was the inspiration to why people should wear motor helmets while riding a motorbike. Makes
a lot of sense. That way you can't hit your head if you're wearing a helmet. So on the 19th of May 2009, Robert F. Furchgott, the Nobel Prize-winning American biochemist who contributed to discovering nitric oxide as a transient cellular signal in mammalian systems, which basically means that nitric oxide is a vital chemical in allowing signals to travel through the nerves. So he received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering nitric oxide as a cellular signal with Louis Ignaro and Farid Murad. And it also explained the effects of nitroglycerin used for angina pectoris, and which also led to the development of Viagra, because it causes vessels to dilate, which is kind of important when you're needing to take medicine for either of those conditions. He died at 92 in Seattle, Washington. And for the famous birthdays, on the 19th of May 1942, we have Gary Kildall. Gary was created the CP/M operating system and founded Digital Research Incorporated. He was one of the first people to see microprocessors as fully capable computers. And I'm actually going to try out CP/M soon because I'm building a Z80 computer kit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
It's the RC 2014 kit. which I have to put a link in the show notes now. But it's had it shipped over from a guy in England who came up with this design and publishes. So it's open source, but he fabs all the PCBs and makes kits and everything. So Kildall and his wife Dorothy established a company called Intergalactic Digital Research before renaming it as Digital Research Incorporated. They published CPM for the IMSI 8080, a clone of the Altair 8800, which is one of my favorite retro computers, actually. I just love the big clunky switches on the front of the Altairs and the PDPs. And so because there were so many hardware variations that were running CPM, he came up with the idea of a BIOS, which is a basic program running on the computer hardware to load CPM and to translate whatever's needed between CPM and the unique hardware of that system. So by 1981, it ran on 3,000 different computer models, and his company had 5.4 million in yearly revenues. He was born in Seattle, Washington. I'm going to put a link to the RC 2014 in the show notes. I'm partway through building it, but I'm going to need to go back and find my solder sucker and solder removal tools, because I've made the mistake of having some solder flood over and fill a few of the through holes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a pain to clean out.
Nuts.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll put the link in the show notes, but I have the RC 2014 Pro model and a couple of the add-on modules, which aren't part of the main kit, just so I can hook it up to different things. I really recommend it. It's super simple to put together. So, on the 19th of May 1944, Peter Mayhew was born. Peter is best known for playing Chewbacca in Star Wars. He played Chewbacca from the 1977 original to 2015's The Force Awakens before retiring. So George Lucas needed a tall actor who could fit the role, and he thought he'd get bodybuilder David Prowse, but Prowse chose to play Darth Vader. And Mayhew at the time was working as an orderly in the radiology department of a hospital in London. He's 2.21 meters tall.
Wow.
And was immediately cast as soon as he stood up to greet George Lucas.
Can you imagine just like being the director, like, "Hi, Pete Mayhew. Hi, you're hired."
Yeah, and like, how could you not? Like, he just stands up and he towers over you. So Lucas said Mayhew was the closest any human could be to a Wookiee. Big heart, gentle nature, and I learned to always let him win.
That explains why Han doesn't fight with Chewie.
Would you? He's 2.21 meters tall and he's basically a walking bear. On the 19th of May 1946, Andre the Giant was born. Andre René Rizumov is was a French professional wrestler and actor. He too was over 7 feet tall. He doesn't have an exact height here, but similar height to Peter Mayhew, but completely different build. Peter Mayhew's quite spindly. Andre the Giant is big in every dimension.
Yeah.
So, outside of wrestling, he's best known for appearing as Fezzik in The Princess Bride. After his death in 1993, he became the inaugural inductee into the WWF Hall of Fame,
Which is now known as WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yeah. And he has some very interesting stories. Like, for example, with The Princess Bride, as you were saying, he loves that movie. Basically.
Yeah, it says here that he carried a copy everywhere he went. And he once consumed 119 350ml beers in 6 hours, which is over 41 liters. And the thing is, he had a lot of issues with his body because of his condition.
Yeah.
So he had acromegaly, and he was in so much pain that's part of the reason why he drank so much. And there's an anecdote about the time while he was on set, and he farted for a solid 20 seconds. And he, I think it was the director asked him, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I am now, boss."
My favorite anecdote with Andre the Giant I was is where he would drink like 100. He would be drinking like bottles of wine, and one of the wrestlers was doing a promo, and Andre was supposed to fight this guy. So he comes out, he's absolutely drunk, and to have this fighting, and Andre's just mauling this opponent. And 20 minutes into this match, the guy takes the upper hand. He slams on the floor, and he's trying to get Andre to fight back and stuff. And all of a sudden, he's saying like, "Hey, something's not wrong here." He lifts his hand. He lifts Andre's hand. And it falls down. Hey, something's wrong here, guys. The referee comes in and he notices Andre sleeping on the wrestling mat. And so the opponent's like, "Oh my god, how am I gonna wake this guy up?" So he's trying to wake him up, like, come on, Andre, wake up. And as soon as Andre wakes up, he's like a bear. He's like, I'll get you. He starts chasing him out of the ring.
It must have taken a lot to put him to sleep, though.
Oh, he was drunk at the time, so holy.
Yeah, but like, how many bottles of wine did you say?
100, like 6 cases of wine.
Yeah, like that would put anyone on the floor.
There's a very nice documentary about Andre the Giant. I recommend people watching. It's called it's called Andre the Giant, but it was really good. It's really good to watch. Like he talks about how he's suffering gigantism, and how his gigantism was costing his career. Like before this famous match between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, which I think you might have seen as well, and how Vince.
Actually, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
I've never seen. I don't watch wrestling.
But the lead up to this match, like no one knew the result of that match, which was very interesting as well.
So it wasn't a planned match like a lot of them are?
It wasn't really a planned match. Like Hulk Hogan was constantly asking Andre, like, "Hey Andre, do you know this? Do you know how you want to go this match? How do you want to go this match?" Like, nah, I'm not gonna tell you. Like, you have to figure it out on the day. No.
So I can't see how that could go wrong.
And like, it was perfect. Like, it was a perfect end. Like it was a perfect ending. I recommend people watching it. It's a pretty good documentary to watch, and yeah, it tells a lot of interesting stories, like Andre farting. And
So next up, we have on the 19th of May, 1955, James Gosling, aka Dr. Java, best known as the founder and lead designer behind Java, best known as one of the most controversial programming languages in existence. He created his own version of Emacs while working towards his doctorate. He built a multi-processor version of Unix for a 16-way computer system. 16-way? I haven't heard that term before. I wonder if that's for the number of users or for the number of cores or something along those lines. So he came up with the idea for the Java virtual machine while writing a program to port software from a PERC machine by translating PERC Q code to VAX assembler and emulating the hardware. So that's why Java is known for being a bit slow, because it's running a whole virtual machine emulating a Java machine on your computer and running all the code inside that. So to run Java code on a machine, you don't write a compiler or anything. You write a virtual machine to match whatever hardware you're using. Sort of like what I was saying earlier with the BIOS for CP/M, except at a higher level. So he also invented a Unix windowing system called News, which unfortunately didn't get an open source license, so it just floundered a bit. He's known for his love of proving the unknown, and his favorite irrational number is square root of 2. He has a framed picture of the first 1,000 digits of the square root of 2 in his office. He was born near Calgary, Alberta. And events of interest. On the 18th of May 1980, the eruption of Mount St. Helens, which means this week was the 40th anniversary of the eruption. So starting from March 27th, 1980, volcanic explosions and pyroclastic flows began at Mount St. Helens, and working up until the May 18th eruption. This eruption had a volcanic explosivity index of 5. It is the most significant eruption to occur in the contiguous 48 US states, and the most disastrous eruption in US history. So there was a massive bulge in the side of the mountain. Then when it finally gave way, the whole side of the mountain just slipped off and formed a massive lehar.
Oh, man.
A lehar is basically a volcanic landslide or mudslide, because it managed to, when it erupted, it melted all of the ice and glaciers, entire glaciers on the mountain. And some of them reached 80 kilometers southwest. it was equivalent to 26 megatons of TNT, which I've just put up the tonnage of the little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Here we go. So the little boy bomb was only 15 kilotons, and this was 26 megatons. And it flattened all of the trees in the area. Thousands of animals were killed. About 50 people died. And it completely changed the shape of the mountain.
Well, by the way, I was looking through the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and one of the people that died, his famous last words were, "Vancouver, Vancouver, I've got it."
Wasn't it? This is it.
Yeah, Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
So
this is it.
Yeah, actually, that's 57 deaths.
Yeah.
And one of them was a guy who was known for basically being a bit of a mountain man. He ran a lodge there and refused to ever leave. And the lodge is now under a few dozen meters of ash and dirt, and no one's ever going to see him again. But apparently he died, doing what he loved. So that's nice to know. It's crazy looking at the photos from that, because it's completely a complete wasteland, and it's spread dust, ash all over the world.
I'm looking at the Volvo. Oh man, the Volvo that got captured in the eruption. Oh man.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for that Volvo owner.
So yeah, the pyroclastic flow was 360 degrees Celsius when it first hit when it hit the first human victims, which fortunately means they probably died pretty instantly. So, on the 19th of May 1999, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was released. Star Wars Episode 1 being the fourth movie released in the series, just to confuse you, led to 2.2 million full-time employees skipping work to attend the film, causing a nearly $300 million loss of productivity. Many companies closed on opening day because of this. So it was almost 16 years after the previous Star Wars film, Return of the Jedi. And then on the same day, but in 2005, Episode 3, being the sixth movie in the series, was released. George, can you count? Yeah, so the theatrical release in most countries took part on the same day to coincide with the 1999 release of Phantom Menace, and also the 1977 release of New Hope and the 1983 release of Return of the Jedi, because they really like the 19th of May, but for some reason we do May the 4th be with you, which I know why we do it, but...
I think it was a marketing gimmick, if I recall.
Okay. Yes, but that is all we have for this week. DJ, where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They can email us on nerdsamalgamate@gmail.com. All of our details will be on our show notes. And
if you happen to vehemently disagree with me as much as I vehemently disagree with Niantic, I really want to hear from you, so send us a message. Seriously, I want to know what other people are thinking of this, if there's anyone who actually likes it.
Yeah. They can also find us on that'snotcanon.com, where we have a archive of our old episodes, and we've got some new podcast series as well, such as the what was that long named podcast again? Zane has to stop doing this. I can't remember any of the names because they're too long. Here we go. An assemblage of grandiose and bombastic grandiloquence. Yeah, but there's a new one as well that just came out. Do you know that one? The Mistletoe Museum of Mystery Morbidity. Oh, thank you. But that's not the one I'm thinking of. That's a new one this week. Oh, which is, if Facebook would load, come on, Australian internet, you can do it. Here we go. Heavenly Shows and Unnecessary Letters, which is about Shakespeare. Oh, very nice. Yeah, which should be really good, because Shakespeare came up with a whole bunch of new words that we still use these days, which I reckon is going to make this one a fun one to keep up with. But that's all, so look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next week. Hooroo.